I feel like as a person who has been in my life, I feel like the topic of God has always been a subject to me, whether in conflict, in saying that most of the things being shared in the Bible just don't make no sense, like it push a specific narrative that I'm not quite a fan of. But then I really had to ask myself, but I hadn't read the Bible, let's be honest. And that the concept of a being who, no matter where you hide, can always know where you are, what you're doing, what you did, and has that sense of awareness to some degree is kind of scary, but also in a lot. Like that's how the conversation was surrounding, right? I cannot paraphrase everything that was said. There's something opening my eyes further, whether it's my own curiosity, but there's something that has to be driven by that. Because as much as I'm a mystic person, at the same time, I'm a person who wants things to make sense. I can't just believe in something because it sounds like it suits my ego. It makes me feel nice. It makes me feel like I'll be accepted the way that I am. That allows me to be lazy, right? And I realize the concept of God needs the participant to be hyperactive. You are continuously doing, you are continuously moving. There's continuous ideas flowing within you and things that you gotta do. Your weeks feel faster and your life feels more full because there's less times, at least for me, there's less times that I'm spending dwelling in my sorrows. You have to push forward. It's not you either, but you either push forward or you stand still. You have to continue pushing forward. And if you have nothing that is keeping you busy, meaning driving towards the forwardness, forward is doing something. You do things, right? You're building up. It adds up. It piles up. You're collecting basically. And eventually that collection reaps the rewards that come from it. And I'm wondering, as a person, why don't we want to do that? I would rather do that. And the idea, the concept that keeps me grounded, right, is the concept of Christ, of God, of the works that the people that followed him, the people that he walked with, required from him. Like a person had to die. In that whole entire concept, to believe in something so much that a person has to die, that's big. Like I feel like the death of a person is not something small. Like a person had to die for them to give you permission to live your life. So that is to say, why then live your life secretly, silently, slowly, or in a way that appeases other people beyond your own? Because like a literal human being died so that you can do and achieve what it is that you want to achieve. So who am I? Is that not rude? Is it not rude? Imagine someone paves the way for you to be able to achieve all your dreams, all your goals, everything, with limited to none consequences. Are you gonna be like, oh, I'm not sure about that. No, you're gonna be like, oh my God. You walk, right? It's a blessing. It's a kindness someone is doing, regardless of what you believe. It's a reality. Would that not be rude? Is what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking, damn, dude, who has ever been hurt by research, studying, understanding something further, and believing in it wholeheartedly, knowing that it supports every possible question they could possibly come up with? Like, it proves the existence of something. It proves that part, because there's a part of you that believes that there's more, right? There's a part of you that believes it's connected to something. There's something about you that understand that your entire existence is actually magical on its own. So you're telling me you wouldn't be able to conceptualize that? So why not read, study, listen, hear other opinions? The more you know, the better. I think there's a lot of us in the world that first we walk blinded. And I mean that with the lack of information. Blinded in the sense that we don't have enough information. You walk and you think you know everything and everything is open and is lied to you. But then you start reading more materials. Or I once watched a woman speak about how exposure is very important with a friend from both of you coming from Ekasi and going into different varsities, one deciding to go to varsity and the one deciding to not to go to varsity, and the things in which the one who chooses to go to varsity will be exposed to, and the other guy won't be exposed to the same things, and they will never have the same lifestyle after that, right? So the more you learn, the more we understand that there's people that are dedicating their whole lives studying something so they can tell us about it. And you realize, whoa, okay, cool. These people really meant it when they say this, because that's what they study. That's what they spend their time doing. Like the same thing I spend my time doing, and I find significance and importance in that, someone else is doing the same thing with something else. And that's interesting to me. I want to read it and I learn about it, and I'm like, whoa, in this life, this is possible. This is happening. This looks like this. This is how this began. This is how this evolves. This is how this... Whoa, that's cool. Oh, could it be possible that there was this, there was that? Like, that level where the brain, the electricity in your brain just sparkling and it's going all over the place. You start to realize there's more, and you start picking up these religious books, and then you realize, whoa, the stories are so similar. Everybody talks about the same thing. Different places, there was some knowledge. The same way I can know about what's happening in other places, how can they know to do the same thing? Like, how did that work? How did they come to realize? Who built? What helped them? Was there another civilization that was much advanced than I am? Therefore, the question is not about was there. It's a matter of, when did it die off? How long does it take for things that we've built in this world to survive? And if millions from now, if something were to happen and human life were to come, all life were to come to an end on this planet, and then millions from now, what about our modern times, our current times will be left as evidence? Not a lot of things. Not a lot of things, if not all. Not a lot of things. Not even a millions, 500,000. Yes. The same plastic deteriorates by 20,000 years. It's done. It's gone. 10,000. Some of it's done. That's electronic. 20,000. And many things are gone at that point. Now imagine 40,000 more years. 80,000 more years. Things are gone, right? So how long ago is the past? Because scientists measure it and it's clear and you can understand that, but then it's like, damn, do I really understand what 10 billion plus years looks like? Billion years. What does that look like? I don't even live to 100. I die soon. Billions. I cannot conceptualize that and to imagine what could possibly have existed during that time. And then, because the mind is imaginative, you read the Bible and it tells you a story and you're like, Elevele. Elevele. In regard to whether you believe it or not, there's things that happen in the past that your brain just like, you know what? I need names. I need names right now. I need the tea. I need everything. Whether the current technology, the technology they had at the time, they associate that as God, it don't matter. Right? If we die and AI advances, they're going to reference to us as their gods because we build them up, right? It doesn't matter because the evidence is there. The story is there. They all left evidence. So that means, now, there was something with Moses. Because look what happened here. Look what happened. And it's like, if it's not real, whoever wrote that book, imaginative, he was copying that life from somewhere. Something was happening for him to write that down. If it's fake, if the Bible is just a story, the people that wrote that thing are imaginative. Like these different stories that are tied together. How are you gonna tie something like that together? But again, I digress. That is to say that to not believe that there's a higher being, there's a bigger creation, there's a creator to all of this, you have not done the study. You have not done the research. You have not been curious. You don't even have to be a scholar level type of curious. I'm not a scholar level type of curious. I'm just a regular individual curious, and I'm realizing science explains of these magnificent things, time, space, and gravity. That they explain it like it's a simple concept. You're like, oh, okay, cool. But then it's the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing. It's the omega. It's the alpha omega. Alpha and omega. It's the father, mother, daughter. It's the beginning. It is it's the breath. That's it. And like, where did that come from? Atoms and these things, where did it come from? It started from a tiny thing, and then within it just expanded, came to being. Now read religious studies, the agnostics, the many other cultures that talk about the creation of God and how they call them in different places and how similar it is, whether it's a story or not. You know yourself that there's something within you, there's something about you. So, what do you believe? Which journey do you end up taking? The one where that doesn't seem possible, there's no way that happened, or the one where you're like, fuck, everybody that can say anything about this shit is saying this shit, and I cannot measure how big, how long, how distant, how great all of that is. The universe, how big is it? I cannot even conceptualize how big South Africa is, let alone Africa, let alone planet Earth, or the moon, the sun. Like, I can conceptualize, yes. I see it far away. I'm like, yeah, that thing to be seen from here is gonna be far, and it's gonna be big. But then, I can never really comprehend how big. You get? Someone spoke about the 3 dimensions, and how you can a 2-dimension seeing a 3D dimension in its dimension would just seem like a sphere. Like if it was a cube and it was hovering, it was a 3D cube and it was hovering in a 2D dimension, it would literally just be a circle and be like that. And if something were to exist within our 3D world that is 4D, we would see it as a sphere or whatever shape it actually is. That's what we would see it as, right? And we cannot conceptualize what a 4D would see from a 5D because it's hard to comprehend. But a cube is a 4D cube, you can see that. But and I'm sitting and I'm thinking about the creation of the universe and God and light and knowing yourself that you are of something higher, and I'm wondering, what if the moon is reflective of something? Like, could a moon be a 4D dimensional being? Does the moon ever move? I don't know. Would I be able to notice if it did? But I feel like I would be. But like, to it would just move, right? For me, how long is that? How long is just sitting here for 5 seconds or for 2 hours and getting up in a 4D dimension creature? What does that look like? What does that look like for a 2D creature, right? I don't know. That is something I was looking to, but like, I'm thinking about that. And I'm thinking about how insane it is. Because like, to move in life with your own understanding of how things are supposed to be or how things are is to accept that you think that you know everything. You think that everything is as you think in your mind or as you imagine or as you were told, as you once read. Therefore, you don't need to read no more. You don't have to study no more. You don't have to be curious no more because like, you figured it out. But seriously, you didn't, because what research did you do? What studying did you do? What understanding did you seek for? Like when someone said something over a video, did you go and verify that? Did you Go read the papers they read. Did you have an opinion of your own, or did you adapt to their own opinion because you trusted that they would have gone and read the things you should have read yourself? Because I think most times it's the fact that we trust that, and also you gotta understand, man, you don't know shit, bro. We don't know shit. Let me speak for myself. I didn't know shit. I still don't. Let me say that. But like, the more the universe, the more things, creatures are created, even animals, dog. Like, even animals and these insects and these sea creatures that kind of have superpowers. I know you've all seen, some of you might have seen that video of that woman talking about animals that she thinks are aliens. And I just thought, what can do what? What has what? That's so cool. How? What? And we think we like big dogs and stuff. Like, that idea alone, I'm like, ooh, we're not even big dogs. That's crazy. Like, in terms of design, we're not talking about intellect. We're talking about designing capabilities. What is it that humans are capable of that is so above every creature? Intellect, perhaps, but didn't they say dolphins are smarter than us, are more smart than we are? So I don't know about that. So they thought that there was a creation of all of that. There was a process of all of that, design of all of that, and I do not know how long it would have taken, how it even came about. I cannot conceptualize it, because I'm just like, I know in nature there's nothing that just happens like that, right? You don't just manifest animals to be. So of course those things had to evolve from something to something to something to something, because that's what we see in our natural world today. That's what we see when things grow and evolve. When a fruit, a flower, a seed, things evolve, like small things we don't have to wait millions of years for. And you just wonder, what did you evolve from? And then you see what things evolved from, and you realize that life is possible at every planet. Actually, in every moment, in every environment, wherever you are, there's always something moving. There's always something alive. There's always something within you, without you, around you, near, wherever, underneath your feet, wherever. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be something. We just are creatures that are cohabitating one another. Small, medium, big, and huge, and humongous, and stars, and galaxies and universes, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like there's gonna be some things that we cannot conceptualize, going higher and going lower, and there's been a design for that, and as a human being, I think we kind of overemphasize, also at the same time undermine our humanity, if you get what I mean. We like to point out that we are better than animals, that we are more sophisticated, but at the same time we don't have the access to connect with the nature, with the world that we live in, and the environment, and the God of this life that we're living. At the same, I don't know, I think it's undermining. Your relationship with God can conflict, it can contradict, it can be whatever it is comes to at that point. But keep in mind that the Bible doesn't change its mind or feelings. You do. It said one thing, and it said one thing, and it remained at that. It said that if you abide in my word, this will come of that. You're going to come and say that I'm a child of God and God has forsaken. Did you read the word? Did you read what did you not abide in? What did you not do? And I think maybe it's harder because honestly, myself and I, we want to hear God's voice in a specific way. And I think that for the longest time it felt that way. Because like, how does God sound like? And I have dreams, but they're like complicated and so many meanings that I don't understand, and I end up putting my own meaning. The fact that you're trying to put your own meaning begins here, right? That you're looking for something. You are seeking for evidence somewhere, a call somewhere, like, hey, come this way. I have great magic for you. I have great powers for you. You can see what this is going to happen to you, or what this person has done to you. The best to do is to read the word, see what this person is talking about, see what everybody is talking about, what exactly is the word. And as you read, you got to understand, oh, when they said, I'm a jealous God, okay, cool, this was in reference to this. Oh, when they said this guy was this was reference to this. Oh wow, this happened. Very cool. You get to have an understanding of what happened so that when people tell you to believe in something or not, you can make that decision yourself. Like I said last time, you can't let people's understanding deter your own understanding. You can't wait for someone to give you wisdom to be a person of wisdom. You search it, you seek it, you read, you understand, you extend and expand your knowledge. You don't remain the same. You become a new thing. You grow. And I'm kind of starting to understand where that actually came from. I got that when it was first said at church, and I thought, okay, I hear that for sure, but I didn't know how to apply it. But now that I'm saying it out loud and we're having this conversation, I'm really realizing that, yeah, man. Life on its own is quite interesting, and these are my closing remarks. Life on its own is quite interesting. That's our personal life on its own, not observing anyone else's life, anyone else's goings but your own. It's already complicated, it's already hard, it's filled with emotions and complexity. Like in so many aspects of our lives, it's already complicated. To then just focus on that, it's stressful. Because what else can your brain do but expand the problem? Because what if this problem ends? What is the brain to do now? We can't let this problem end. We gotta always be this type of person and remain the same and never change. Because what is our brain going to do? There's nothing to do. But start feeding your brain. Start feeding your brain with different informations, with different outputs and viewpoints, with opinions you don't agree with. And just to say, I don't really not agree with that. Why do we have a problem with that person living their life like that? And you just observe and you hear what their point is and what bothered them there. And then you ask yourself, do I have a problem with that though? No, this whole entire video, I've had my own opinions and I've held my own opinions. At no point did I think the verdict this person came to was, I make my own judgment. I don't deter how the story goes. I don't run away from it because it's something I don't agree with. It's just, you don't agree with it, I don't agree with it. Let me hear why you don't agree with it. Oh, okay. I don't get it, but I guess it's valid for you, but I wouldn't align with that. See, I'm both accepting the fact that someone else can have an opinion and I can have an opinion. And we both can disagree with our opinions, but then understand that, hey, you know what? This system works for you. It keeps you in line, it keeps you motivated, it keeps you moving forward. And that does the same for you. It keeps you calm, it keeps you etc. And you live better in the world and you feel at peace. Do that. Be that and allow other people to be that, whichever way that looks like. Because we're not the same. You see how life is so different in this planet on its own and beyond this planet on its own. Like everything that's about is just life. You get, like, it's movement, it's activity, it's something that you just don't understand in a different form. So why then want someone else to move the same direction you're moving? Life is interesting in that manner when it's allowed to do what it's supposed to do. All right, bye.